Hey up everyone, welcome to another video. Well, thankfully it's entered into my favourite season, which is autumn. It's a time of change, and for me a time of renewed optimism. Especially as an hunter, I feel it's a great time just to be out. So an early start, and because it's autumn going into winter, it's time to get back onto squirrels. Now they've seen a video a couple of months ago where I built this hide, an old shed that a neighbour gave me, and a more recent video where me and my mate Beefer went and we just did finishing touches. Now unfortunately he's got work commitments, so he's not been able to join me, but there'll be plenty of opportunities for him in future, and we've got something planned very shortly. So I'm sat waiting. I always get there just as it's approaching first light. It's got a nice mug of coffee on go. I'm all set up, camcorder's ready, shooting positions ready. And now I'm just waiting for daybreak. Still early. Got to be what, 6:45, 7 o'clock in the morning. And it didn't take long for the first visitor to arrive, which I'm surprised about really, because I don't really start my squirrel shooting until end of October. I know we're approaching that time of year, but weather weren't great, quite gusty, 14, 15 mile an hour winds. So I decided on sanctuary at Hyde, just so I could still get out. Now I'm expecting early visitors, so I left 8 AM 4K Pro in night mode. Got a lovely clinical shot. Dead on spot. Slowly rolls off onto woodland floor. I always like to just have a little look at them, make sure the reaction's right. Squirrels are very fidgety, and it can be quite easy to get your shot timing wrong. Reaction this one tells me it was a good clean shot. And that's just inhibition, legs kicking, nervous system just shutting down. It's a natural process when an animal's being shot. It is in slow motion. I've zoomed it in a little bit for you. That's the beauty about a day-night scope. You wouldn't have been able to take this shot or film it anyway with a conventional scope. You'd have been able to take a shot. There's some quality glass out there, which gives you low light capabilities, but you wouldn't have been able to film it, which obviously is a big part of what I do. I'm trying to give you the experience. So it pays dividends really to have a bit of high-end kit. If filming's your thing and you want to share your experiences, time to sit back, relax, and I'm pleased with myself there, as you can see. Now autumn is here. Everything's preparing for winter, all little critters. Everything's intent on feeding and storing food. Bees will be going into some sort of semi-hibernation, making sure they've got a food supply to last them over winter so they don't have to venture out. All his friends, his little critters like robins that migrate in from Scandinavia, are busy filling their bellies, preparing for what could possibly be an harsh winter. We've had an exceptional summer in UK, so I'm tipping we're going to have a rough winter alongside it. Now, the beauty about this new hide is I've got more viewing points. I can see a lot better. I can see squirrels approaching now. So that hard work's paid off for a number of reasons, really. I see this one come from right. So I'm ready, well in advance. And this looks like either one of the last year's late youngsters or this year's youngsters. Now, I'll be honest here, that weren't best shot. I think squirrel must have moved. So I did take a second shot off camera and thankfully finished it off in a humane way. You can tell how it jumped off feeder. I think initial shot went through neck. Like I said, thankfully, second shot was quick. I put it out of its suffering as fast as I possibly could. Now, as an hunter, when that happens, you're kicking yourself inside. I'm like, should have been a bit more patient, but there's that many variables. Squirrels are fidgety. These things do happen. But it's also blowing about 15 mile an hour winds. So it could have been quite simply a gust of wind that took that shot off target. It won't be long before this is upon us. Bit of snowfall. I love it in woods when snow comes around though. Makes me feel alive. Them cold, crisp mornings. Now I heard this cockbird calling away in distance. I could hear it rummaging through undergrowth. Sounded like a leopard stalking me, as they do. Even the smallest critter makes a big noise on a still morning. I've got no interest in taking this pheasant. I've got plenty in freezer. And pheasant season's here again, so the plan is I'll eat up what I've got, probably 2 or 3 birds left. And then I'll look at replenishing freezer for through winter and early next year when this species are off target. Sitting patiently, intently, expecting arrivals. And it's not long before I get another opportunity. This one sneaked up on me. Generally they come from right, but on this morning some squirrels have been coming from left. So there's a lot more undergrowth. I don't have quite as much time to react. That's what you want. You want them to sit up. You want them to get into a feeding pattern. That's more like it. That's the type of shot I want to see. I've redeemed myself. Confidence will be back up. Again, just check its reaction. Now, I'm filming in a couple of ways this morning. It's obviously ATM 4K Pro. I've got camcorder. And I like that variation. I like to show you both aspects of it. And I'll be doing a lot more of that through this winter. I think this squirrel's been on San Miguel. Look at size at belly. Reminds me of me when I've sat down at the sofa at night. Well fed. Lovely shot. And here it is in slow motion, just so you can see its reaction. Tucks up nice. 10 out of 10 for front roll. So far it's been a lot more productive than I thought it was going to be. I expected a couple of squirrels, and I'd been happy with that, to be honest, just to be back in wood, in hide. Autumn's bounty. Like I said before, everything's getting ready. Even us, if you know what you're doing. Out here picking some shrooms. Be very careful though. Your first time could be your last time if you don't know what you're doing. But everything's geared up at this time of year to start putting fat on, weight on, and then during leaner times, when weather's harsh, they'll have enough about them to survive, use up the fat reserves, and get themselves through winter. Here's hide. As ever, it's tucked into this holly bush. I like to build my hides like that into some natural vegetation. Just helps them blend in. And if I need a toilet break, I can slip out at back at hide. I'm still concealed. And go about my business. I can slip back in hide without disturbing woodland. Here's I've decided to shoot. So I've got a shooting rest bag on front at hide, and I've got Primos sticks at back end at rifle. I've got camcorder set up on a tripod. It's a makeshift tripod. I actually acquired that a bit of scavenge. It's ideal. Just sits a camcorder on top, and it's independent of me because I created a little shooting window for it, which means I'm not going to be knocking it with my rifle, which I've been guilty of in the past, and I think it spoils some footage. So that'll help me improve quality and give you, the viewer, a better experience, really. Spot some more movement. Here's a squirrel. Just hanging about on branches at the minute, but this is why these branches are here. Helps them climb up onto the feeder. Looks like another early youngster. This footage is with camcorder. That's what you want. Full frontal shot if possible. Let it get into that feeding pattern. Take a couple of pieces of wheat. Once it's had a couple, it'll feel confident to sit. Straight through front at skull. Pellet will travel through brain. Probably gone through, broke spinal column. And that's what you want every time. As hunters, it's about being humane. I don't like to see anything suffer. I'm there to do a job. I want to do it to the best of my abilities. There we are in slow motion. Lovely reaction. Lovely clean kill. As you can see, it's quite gloomy and dark in hide, but that's what you want. When them squirrels are looking towards me, they can't see a thing. And it's been planned like that because this area, or this feeder in particular, does bring magpies in through winter months. They recognise it as a food source. So generally I'll get a few opportunities at them, and concealment's everything. You need to be hidden away. You need a dark background so they can't spot any movement. Who knows, if you're well concealed, you might even see a deer or two. This squirrel, tried to have a nibble on my feeder, so it'd be a good one to take out. Again, this is only a youngster, and it was actually the smallest squirrel at session. Initially I thought that shot was good, but this one needed a follow-up. You can see its reaction's bad. Thankfully, I get a second in it quickly. It's lights out for that squirrel. Now this is one of my favourite shots at morning, so I'm going to show it you again. Quick adjustment of camcorder. Wait for it to get into its feeding pattern. And there you go. Here's the last two. It's only a young one, that one. One of this year's young. That one's a full grown adult. That last youngster, we'll just try and have a nibble here. So it's a good one to take out. Plenty of food still in here. Let's have a quick look. Gone down a little bit. Gone down a couple of inch. Lid's back on. Seen quite a few squirrels this morning. I've seen another 4 or 5 in the area. So there's plenty of activity. Looks like it's going to pay off this year, this feeder. couple of weeks ago, I went out for an evening on rabbits. I've seen a lot of rabbits in this field. I haven't seen any warrens in middle of the field, so I'm tipping they're either coming from under the stone wall or they're coming through that gate on the left hand side. So I plan where I'm going to sit and wait, then hopefully shoot a few into at night. I was sat in Dipper Hill in hedgerow, behind the fence line, and plan where to ambush them as they entered field. A really blustery night. It weren't supposed to be about 7-8 miles an hour, but up on hills like this it was about 15 or 20. So I had to consider that. I had to keep my ranges pretty close. I had a few rabbits actually run out front gate, and they were no more than 3 or 4 yards in front of me. They come a lot closer than what I expected, so maybe I was slightly in the wrong position. But they did as I expected, and there were a lot of rabbits through this gate. I just see one here. I'm trying to be patient, waiting for it to come out. But this one's having none of it, decides to bugger off. But a little bit later one does, comes out, comes to the left. I'm just waiting for a shot. And that's what you want, nice clean kill. That's with no IR, that's just in night mode, just as dusk was setting in. And you can see in slow motion. Really clean, healthy rabbits these, perfect for the pot. After an hour or two, I got myself out. And that would have a clean miss that, but you can just see it fly a pellet, and I'm sure that rabbit ducks. Probably pierced its ears. But escaped unarmed. Very lucky rabbit. This one weren't so lucky. Listen to it crack. Lovely clean headshot. Couple of nice rabbits for the pot. I've already had one Emily rabbit stew. Absolutely lovely. I'll just leave you an image at squirrels that I brought home into the cabin. Again, they've been prepared. They'll be on the dinner table. As ever, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. And I'll see you next one.